But welcome to Autastic Artists 20.
Woo!
Jeez. We've done like 24 of these actually, but this is the 20th month in a row we've been doing it. And this time we have a three-time guest. She's been on here before, but she's just so darn interesting. I should say they are just so darn interesting.
I was about to say.
Jesus. They're like the twins, my co-host and them, because if you look at their what are the odds I got two people on the show from one from Malaysia, one from Thailand, which were right next to each other. They're both non-binary, and that doesn't even happen that much out there. And then they're both on the spectrum. So it's like lightning struck in three different places for our guest and our co-host to be together in the same room. You know what I mean? But other than that, we're here. Good morning.
Okay.
Wake up.
We're here, we're queer, we're ready to party.
Well,
Yay!
I wasn't going to say all that, but we're here. I'm not queer. They're queer. And we're ready to party. All right. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
But the best part is we get to learn a lot about Malaysia, the culture, and kind of what's going on over there. So first, without further ado, give it up for our co-host, the hostess with the mostest, the potato chip enthusiast, Janejira Damron.
Hello. I'm back. For our visual listeners, you may notice my setup looks a little bit different. It's because I got a new laptop and update. I'm going to be live streaming soon on Twitch at the Fluid Strawberry.
Little shameless plug there. No, I need her to work sound effects today. She is fired. She is fired. The new computer. I don't know how to do that yet. And then who's that in the corner? Is that Broccoli?
It is Broccoli, the dinosaur.
Oh, yay.
Denver, the last dinosaur. I'm the only one who remembers that show. I'm pretty sure none of you guys are old enough for that. But that was the one. Anyways, give it up for Janejira, the potato chip enthusiast.
Wow.
There we go. I guess it's just they're not that loud today, right? Is that what it is? The I don't know. Maybe I'm just stuffed up. I don't know. Maybe it's me. It's not you. It's me.
Oh.
I'm single, by the way. All you crushers on Suit Man, he's available. He's damaged goods, though. I'm gonna tell you. Anyways, our guest today, though, it's funny. I was like, "What's going on with being trans or non-binary in Malaysia?" And she was like, "It still sucks." I was like, "There's nothing new going on." She's like, "No, we're still fighting the fight. It's like pre-civil rights movement, right? For black people, just nobody knows. It's not even allowed, right? But they also keep it going because they run I Love KL.
Yeah.
They run a whole bunch of different shows. They're constantly on the move in Malaysia doing comedy. And not only that, but I find their drive similar to mine. And what I mean by that is they work their tail off. They don't let people tell them they can't do anything. And they're always giving more space for everybody. So give it up for our guest today, Juliana Heng out of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Dante. Thanks, Janejira. I'm well.
And then I always love it when I ask Juliana questions because it's the autistic response. I'm gonna get one word. I'm fine. Here's the question you answered. Here's the answer. I'm not gonna give you anything extra. I'm not gonna fluff. I'm not gonna do any of that. Right? Oh God, I can't. I needed some help this morning. But here's the good news. It's Sunday. It's August. How was your summer in Malaysia? Is it even summer in Malaysia right now?
We have the eternal summer, like what William Shakespeare says. Yeah.
Oh,
And that's about it. We don't have 4 seasons. The only season we have is hot, which is summer, and rain. That's about it.
That's about
That
it.
is our winter. Yeah.
And when you say rain, how cold is it when it's raining?
Not much of difference. I will say that if let's say it's let's say in Malaysia, like it's 35 degrees Celsius for without rain, but with rain, maybe 28 degrees Celsius is not like a very big difference, but it's
You
just a
said
bit cooling. Yeah.
35 degrees Celsius. I hate having to do math, but 1.8 times 35 is 60 plus 35 is 98. So you say
Yes.
anywhere from 98 to 80, 80 is it's 80 degrees in the winter? Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Jesus. You're
Yes.
spoiled. I don't know. Do you guys have bugs then? Do you have a ton of bugs? Is it like a swamp all the time or what?
We of course we have bugs, which is the flies and mosquitoes. Yeah.
You gotta understand, we're in Seattle. We really don't get bugs. Like we have things that crawl, but as far as
Nah.
the flying stuff, we don't have I think the weather to support them. And then tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about yourself. Who are you for the people who don't know? What's your name? What are you doing these days, Juliana?
Hi everyone, I'm Juliana Heng. I do stand-up comedy, spoken word, and storytelling. And like Dante said, I also run I Love KL comedy shows. So what's up with me lately? All right. Recently, I run sort of like a by Brandon comedy show to send off a friend to Australia. He's actually one of the gay comedian in KL, very strong comedian. But unfortunately, no, I won't say unfortunately, actually happy for him because in Malaysia, gay has no rights. So he's going to Australia, which have rights for him. So all the best. But of course, we roasted his ass like mad. Yay. Yeah. And I also did my solo show in July. Yeah. So it's Walking on Spectrum, where I do all three arts, which is comedy, spoken word, and storytelling. And it's awesome. I mean, the live show is actually, I would say, much more better than just me shouting at the laptop. Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. So, you said shouting at the loud top. Do you live with other people, or is it just you on your own?
Okay, I'm on my own, but I have housemate and my dog.
Okay, okay. The reason why I
Yeah.
asked is like right now, it's 8 a.m. here. It's what, midnight there, if I remember correctly, right?
It's 11:08 p.m.
Okay, so it's close to the middle of the night, right? And so I
Yep.
get up at 8 a.m. and I'm over here screaming and yelling, and like it all echoes down my house. So I wonder, are your
Oh.
roommates or housemates the same way? Like they're like, what is Janejira doing? Does she? I mean, not Janejira, but who? Need some coffee. What is Juliana doing? Right? I mean, you guys are twins. Okay, it's not my fault. But
Yay.
do you ever get any complaints about recording so much, or?
Actually, not really, because the current housemate that is staying with me, she's not even here. She's actually in her hometown. So she will most likely be back only maybe by midnight or a bit closer to midnight. So that's why I was like thinking, if let's say she's here tonight, but if she's here tonight, she might be hearing some of the shouting that's going on. But then the thing is, whenever someone want to move in with me, uh, usually I will be quite upfront with them. I will tell them that, hey, I do stand-up comedy, and there'll be times I stay up in the middle of the night to do shit, that kind of stuff, to like perform comedy or doing an acting class where I have to be quite dramatic, whatever. So I would just tell them upfront. And usually they were like, yeah, I'm aware of that and I'm okay with that. As long as I get that, it should be quite okay. It's like if so I think I prefer to be more upfront rather to let them find out later on. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that on dating with disabilities. I tell people now I'm single. The first day, I'm Asperger's, I'm high anxiety, I'm deaf, I'm an emotional wreck. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think that's a good disclaimer.
Definitely.
Hold on. I think Juliana just called me an emotional wreck. Did you guys hear that? She's like, I think that's definitely a good disclaimer for you. You need a little hug there sometimes, right? Well, let's talk about something. What is your diagnosis? What's right with you? I don't like to say what's wrong. I like to say what's right with you. What did they get right? What did they say you have?
What's right with me? I have amazing focus. Yes. And the thing is, my state of mind is very close, which is why I don't do weed. Haven't yet, because the state of mind I'm in is actually very similar to someone who is already on weed. Yeah.
On
So
what?
they were like on weed, as in, because a lot of my Malaysian friends, they were like, oh, I need the weed, I need to focus. I cannot write jokes if I'm not focused. So they will like say, okay, quietly go somewhere and have some wit. And they were like, yeah, I can function. I can write jokes now, But for me, it's like, yeah, I'm already in the state. So I don't need, if not, it'll be like cup on cup, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it'll be like
Now I
super
know a lot of
focused,
stuff could be lost in translation for our listeners who aren't hearing. Juliana is saying she's already like she's on weed, like she smoked some weed. I didn't hear it either. I'm deaf one ear. I was like, what the heck did you say?
Yeah.
And we had a
So
conversation pre-show about how weed is not legal in Malaysia, right?
yes,
And
it's not
so
illegal.
if for people who may not know, weed is almost like a requirement, right, to be a comedian, right? Like almost if you go to I don't care. Hey, Janejira is even smiling. I think it's hilarious to hear you said this in Malaysia. You're like a lot of people don't want to go to Kuala Malaysia because marijuana is not legal there. Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. And to me, that's, I mean, I'm in Seattle, Washington. Like, you can go get a Starbucks and a joint at the same spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just different. And you said, no, what is your diagnosis? Not what's wrong with you. What is your diagnosis? Are you just autistic? Are you ADHD? Do you have, what do you got going on?
So far, I'm just like I'm very close to having Asperger's syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah, so Asperger's syndrome, but nowadays they don't even use the term officially, so they just call it autism spectrum disorder. But Asperger is like, I'm like very verbal, but then when it comes to reading social cues and like dealing with people, it get awkward. Yeah. So that is more my thing. But it's not like really debilitating, which is why I cannot get a sort of like a disability card, because it's like I can still support myself pretty well. It's just that I'm just socially awkward. Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Janejira? You guys are twins.
Well, first I want to point out that like the language here is kind of shifting, and we're going away from calling it a disorder because it's just like it's how you are. It's not like a problem. But for people who don't know, what that stems from is when Autism Speaks, the worst company ever, was coming up, they were like, oh no, this is such a tragedy, this is something we need to cure. And then the rest of the world was like, oh, this is a problem, okay, we will keep calling it a problem, a disorder, an issue, something that's wrong with you. And then thankfully the community is changing, and it's like, no, it's not a problem, can you not? But yeah, I think one thing that people need to understand is that like the way people look at autism is different in probably every country at this point. And yeah, it kind of sucks in more countries and it's more accepting in others. And that's something we should like talk about and address in the community.
That's why we do this show. Thank you, Janejira, for the
Yes.
wonderful, and I say wonderful segue into why we do the show. And not only why we do the show, but why is it in 2 years, a little under 2 years, we've had Juliana here for the third time, right? Well, that's why.
Yay.
Because we think about autism, we think about Asperger's, we think about human rights, we even think about LGBTQ rights, right? And we just
Yep.
think, we take those for granted, I think, right? And like I remember a lot of people ask me, I was like, I think I know the only non-binary Malaysian comic. They were like, what? What do you mean the only? And I was like, trust me, I think they're the only public, right, non-binary comedian. And they're like, that doesn't even make sense. And I was, oh, it does when you're from a country that
Yes.
you can't even tell them I don't want to do something. I want to go here, right? I don't know how strict it is per se, but I think those are things we need to talk about. Like you said, you're close to having Asperger's. Let's go
Yep.
down this journey. What has stopped you from getting an actual diagnosis?
I actually working with a doctor already. It's just that unfortunately in Malaysia, the way we get a diagnosis is very peculiar. It's like there are three, it's a triangle structure where the first one is actually the patient's observation. So my job is to tell the doctor like about what is my routine, my daily life, like what do I experience, and then that is for patient's observation. So I actually mentioned again the terminology lah. I'm not a patient, but then to them is you are a patient. So when I tell them, they say, yeah, based on what we know, the way when your testimonial actually dictated that you are on the spectrum. So the second one is actually our observation as a medical professional. So the second one is actually they even put me on like listening test. They talk with me and find out information from me about like my lifestyle and all. And finally, the reason why they put you on the reason why they put people who are Asperger on listening test is because they felt that you could be deaf. Yeah, you could be deaf, so you misinterpret information, and that's when you become socially awkward and all. So I have to also do a listening test, and I passed with flying colors, very Asian, yeah, and
Woohoo!
yeah,
You didn't even have to
and
study.
yeah,
You
and
know,
finally,
study. You very
yeah,
smart.
and finally, the third one is where I'm having a minor hiccup. So the third one is actually the family testimonial, because I actually have left my home for a couple of years, like 6 years. And chances are my family and we are kind of like strangers now. So, and the thing is about my family, especially I remembered once when my dad just bring up the topic that I am autistic to my mom. My mom is in a huge denial. She's like, oh God, what wrong have I done to deserve this crippled kid, that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
of course,
Same.
even if I were to bring them into the medical room, they won't tell the truth. That is the thing. So I'm like, can I at least get a friend to do it? Because a friend would be much better, because I believe my friend or my comedy friends or even someone who travel with me will know who I am much better than my family members. And unfortunately, they say no because they are not blood related. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That's why I can't get a full diagnosis. But on both end, doctor's end and my own end, we are already cleared lah. That means I'm on the spectrum. Just that the last end is the hiccup. Yeah.
I just want you guys to know something. Juliana has cussed 3 times this episode. 2 years ago, she wouldn't even have cussed. So I heard you. I am rubbing off on Juliana. I think the one I love to talk about is how we talked about it, and I think Janejira will agree that when we first talked about diagnostics, especially for Asian girls, right? And they're like, you're not that social, you don't talk that much, and all these different things. You guys are both like, well, that's just every Asian girl.
It's just being
Correct.
Asian.
That's
It's
Yeah.
not that
That's
different.
obedient. Very good.
right. Obedience is good. You will listen. You will be quiet. Children are to be seen and not heard. Like that's
Yes.
not
Just
autism.
society beating us down, the usual.
Yeah.
And I think so many people don't understand how hard it can be. Like if you talk to somebody in our country and even Janejira and you're like your family, they're so unsupportive. We're gonna start you a GoFundMe page, Juliana, because you deserve the support you need, right? And especially if you're Caucasian, you get a whole bunch of Karens making a lemonade stand or something, right? So let me ask you: what is your goal? I mean, do you feel like you're trying to be the trendsetter for this? Is this really something you're taking on as far as doing more than just getting your diagnosis and being a voice?
I will say that for me it's like that is important in the sense that I kind of think that if let's say I don't have a diagnosis, then a lot of people will especially the most critical people, trust me, are the autistic community in Malaysia. When you don't have a formal diagnosis, they will like, shut up, that kind of stuff. You have no right to talk with us or whatever. So that's why when there are times where some of my friends, when I do my solo show, they actually like tag the Malaysian Association of whatever lah, National Association of Autism Malaysia. But I know that they won't give any hoots on because I'm not registered in their database. It's like you are not truly autistic, yeah.
Ew,
So
gatekeeping.
yeah, correct. You're right. And in fact, for me, I'm like, this is shocking. I thought that doing stand-up comedy is hard enough, and now I'm like not even. I mean, I'm like now I have to be good enough to be autistic. Like, what is this, man? Like, so
I'm
it's like mess up lah in the way. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because me personally, I have to prove how black I am, how white I am. I've even had to prove how deaf I am. Right?
Yeah.
People are like, you're not deaf. Oh, you want to see my hearing aid? Like, you want to
Yeah.
have a conversation with me? Come hear how loud my TV is when I turn it on and nobody's here, right?
Yeah.
But I also myself, I remember having to do the black panelist for the King County Autism Group, right? And
Oh.
we did it. And when they interviewed me, and we talk about this, self-diagnosis is almost more valid than real diagnosis, especially
Mm.
from the 80s and 90s, because the only people that were getting a diagnosis was white kids.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So for 20 to 25, 30 years, the only kids in America who could be autistic were white kids. And so if you've sat around me and I went on a date last night. The person was like, "So what's your autism do?" And I was like, "I fixate." As
Mm.
Janejira, if I have a problem, I will talk about it till it is dead.
Same.
Yep.
Same.
Right? And I will go and I will go. And then I'll talk about this point. We'll talk about that point. And you agree with me, right? So let's talk about how you agreed with me. And then we're going to talk about how we don't disagree with them. And then we're going to talk about how we like the fact that we didn't disagree. We disagreed, but we agreed. And then it was also just talking about like, you ever get physical contact and somebody's sitting next to you and you think, ooh, I can feel their knee touching my knee. Did they do that on purpose? Ooh,
Mm.
I'm going to try to touch their thigh. I don't think they like that. I move my hand. Oh, they put my hand back. They like me touching their thigh. These are all the things we're thinking about anytime we get a
Very calculated. Yeah,
right,
I
right.
would say.
Every
Mm-hmm.
time we get
Yeah.
physical contact, every time we sit down with somebody on a date, every time there's a unexplained or how can I put it? Unknown, right? I don't know where this
We're
relationship's
just
at.
like hyper analyzing the other person's body
Yeah.
language and being like, what does it mean?
And we Google emojis, like what does this
Oh,
emoji mean? Huh?
hold
I
on.
don't understand.
That is a great topic. How do you do with texting? Do you feel like you are a effective communicator when you text, Juliana?
Not really, because for me, if I just usually go straight to the point, I mean, I just say, and then I just occasionally put a usual generic smiley emoji, and then I also use like the flat heart because it just looks better than the other heart. So I use a flat heart emoji, the one where you see in the cards. Yeah. And also maybe the thank you. I use thank you a lot. Gratitude matters. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not
Gratitude.
thank you. That's supposed to be a high five, but go ahead.
Oh my God. I can't read even emoji cues. So it's quite hilarious where when people suddenly text me with like a lot of emojis, I'm like why so many emojis, and then why you're all having different color for different hearts, and I have to actually Google. And turns out that one of the because I actually met a crush recently, and my crush actually used a lot of emojis, and that
So they're
confuses
not,
the shit
are they
out
your
of
crush
me.
anymore if they're using that many emojis? Did they lose some cool points because they use emojis?
No, they don't. But the thing is, I'm fascinated. So I'm like, what does this person mean? So I have to quickly like Google up. Okay, what is this heart emoji mean? Why is it white in color? And turns out that it is the supportive love. And then there is like another 10 more hearts with different colors with different meanings. So I'm like, I don't know that. Yeah. And also he uses the wing emoji. And I don't know. I always thought that wing emoji is just you wing lah, But turns out that wing emoji is kind of like a flirting thing. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But the thing is, after that somehow it's like it get confusing. Like there's too many other emojis where I'm like, no, I don't think he's crushing on me. I'm crushing on him, but I don't think he is crushing on me. The kind of stuff. Yeah.
And that's the funny part is you're like, he doesn't mean that.
Yeah, correct. I always have I don't think he mean that.
And
Yeah.
or do you do this one? And I wonder, I'll ask you too, Jane. Do people ever say stuff to you and you're like, that's not what you said? I know what you really said. And they're like, no, I said this, that, and the other. I was like, no, but you really said something else. And what I mean by that, Jackie Pro was here this last week, and I was blasting my music, right? Because I blast it for maybe a half hour, hour a day before I leave, right? And she goes, "Are your neighbors home? Are your roommates home?" I was like, "Oh, my music must be loud." She's like, "That's not what I said at all." I said, "But that's what you were hinting at, is that
Yeah,
right?"
yeah.
And I think we do, and that's the best part with hanging out with other autistics or specials, is that we get that. You'll say something, I'll hear what you really said, and you'll snicker, and you'll own up to it. Because whereas these normies, they'll say something like that, be like, "That's not what I said at all," but yeah, that's what
Mm,
you're saying. My music is loud. You're
mm.
wondering if my roommates are home because my music is extremely loud. No, well, that's not what that is what you said. That was the meaning. And I think I guess that's our special power, right? Is to see the bullshit meaning when people try to passively aggressive say shit to you. Like, that's such a nice haircut, Juliana. And you're like, I did. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I haven't got anything new in 7 years. It's the one guard. Like, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Or when people are like,
Yeah.
"James, here, I saw your comic book. That is amazing." And you're like, "I haven't put out a comic book for a year. You're full of shit." Like, come on.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me here. I think those
Yeah.
are the things, and especially when it comes to texting, because I think the one I have a problem with is I want a response now.
Mm.
Like, there's so many people that text you and put the phone down.
Ah, that's them. Yeah.
That's them. I like how Juliana said that's not a. I think I got another agreement. I heard what you said there. See what I mean? I heard what you said, Juliana.
That's me.
That's not me. That's them. Right? And JG is the same way. If we're in front of our phone, we are in front of our phone.
Yeah.
I message you, answer. And I think that has been such a good part of me and hers work, me and their working relationship. Because I know if Jane Jira starts responding, that she's going to answer for a while. And I'm pretty sure Jane Jira knows once I start messaging and she responds, I better be able to give my attention,
You're
right?
gonna want answers.
How do you, how is that? Is that something that you're finding you're having to explain to people, or is it just, are we talking about it now and you're like, maybe I should explain it to people? Is that, has that been something you've ever highlighted to people about your particular Asperger's or what you deal with?
Mm, I haven't talked about the emoji ones yet, but then so far most of my comedy sets are kind of like revolving around the things I experience as someone on the spectrum, and then the thing is, this is also been captured on camera before, where I actually laugh at punchlines differently. That means because that's why my joke on "oh, you will get it tomorrow," that is quite true, because when someone tells a joke, it's like usually I don't laugh immediately because I will take time to process the joke. And after that, suddenly that person is just saying some random information. Maybe it's just a setup, and I'll be the one laughing. So everyone will be thinking like, what's wrong? I'm just saying my name. Why are you laughing at me while I'm saying my name? No, I'm laughing at the previous joke, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's a bit of this kind of thing. And also like, but the thing is, I also don't want to mention too much about oh, okay, autism is something troublesome. It's not, because actually, like all of us here, it's actually a gift, because I kind of feel that I'm a bit like a superconductor, because people can roast the shit out of me, like insult me like mad, but because of my processing speed, I can still be smiling in a roast battle after you roasted me, and I can still like continue the show. But then a lot of people will have feel hurt, like but for me it's like I don't, until maybe a few days later. Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you. So I'm glad you brought that up. I dated a comedian, right? And Jane Jira knows who this comedian is. And I'm very good friends with their father. So Jane Jira definitely knows who this comedian is, right? And so last time I went to a mic, this person literally walked out as I was doing my set. And they were sitting up front and they took 5 or 6 or 7 of their friends with me. So like half the crowd walked out
Oh.
as I was telling my jokes. And I think you know me well enough, Juliana, and I know Jane Jira does this. I'm like you said, I am like a tape recorder. So it's, hey, I'm Dante, Dwayne, Duante, da, 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 da. And I'm saying all these things, but I swear to God, inside I was like, you evil. So then this week comes, right? And I brought in my friend Jackie Pearl from town. She's the feature. I walk in. The person makes a big scene when I come in, and I'm like, you didn't have to do that, but I see what you're doing there, right? And then they're sitting front row. And when I walked in, the person who saw me was with them. This white guy was like, oh my God, look at that tie. And she's like, don't give him a compliment. Don't stop. He's gonna have to show you the shocks, and then he's gonna show you the shoes, and then he's gonna have to show you the ascot and all this. And I was like, you're mocking me, right? Like, but I was still talking and integrating, and like you said, I am feeling all these emotions, and like on the inside, I'm like, outside, I'm just like, yeah, you like the pink shirt, you like the pink shoes. So here's the worst. So we get to start, and you know how a bar can be L-shaped, right? Like you got the end. So they're sitting on that little end part, and everybody
Yep.
else, the bar is so the length of the bar is perpendicular to where I'm going. So everybody on that long side is kind of leaning in, looking at me. They're sitting on the little short side. The other comedian and her friend had their backs turned. He's trying to get them to turn around, like, hey, watch. And they're just like, no, we've seen it, and laughing. And I am dying inside. But I told somebody else I was dying. I was livid. Like all I could think is I want to throw this mic at the back of your head if you don't turn your ass around and shut up, right? But like you said, I did my whole set. I got off. I did my closer. I got 3 feet outside. I was like, you fucking bitch! It was like, what's wrong? And I told them, and they're like, why didn't you do anything in the moment? And I was like, I couldn't. I don't think
Same.
people understand that when you're performing your job, or like, I've got, even with my ex-girlfriend who I love so much, it didn't matter all these things she did or all these things that went wrong, because my focus is I'm supposed to be a boyfriend and we're in a relationship, right? And I think those are the like you said, it's a superpower. Did it hurt? Was I crying on the inside? Was I like, you evil, you maniacal, how dare you? You're doing this on purpose, right? But on the outside, it was, hey, so I remember, hi, and hey. But on the inside, I'm like, ah! I'm sorry. I just had to share my
Feelings.
So good. So good.
I'm bringing it back in. But I think
Yeah.
somebody told me this is what I got to do on stage, though. Have you? And I guess that's what you're doing, right? Because we're not the same. We're very
Yeah.
similar in that we're very consistent in who we are. But that's kind of what you're doing on stage with your act, correct? You're just kind of ranting in your own way about what you're dealing with. Am I wrong?
Yep.
And is it just entertainment now, or has it become a little bit of therapy as well?
I would say it's like a mix of everything. It's a mixed bag, because I also don't want to like just maybe in your first 10 to 15 minutes it's good to like go on all out on autism and all. But then eventually I don't want to just like, this is the comedian who just does materials on autism, because I am more than that. Yeah. So I also try to explore queerness, and also try to explore my dysfunctional family, and then also other things in life that I feel that, yeah, I mean, it's like I want to be more than just an autistic comedian. Yeah. So it's, when it comes to therapy, I try to sort out with a professional lah. Yeah, I just started therapy like 2 months ago as well, where I really have a professional sitting in front of me, and I just blow my steam. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I do lah. So at least, I mean, it helps a bit, whereby I'm able to reframe some of my kind of like destructive thoughts in my head about my family members to a better place lah. So I mean, hopefully I'll be able to process them as jokes very soon. Yeah.
And let me ask you, have you had your family come watch your act yet?
Very long time ago when I first started. Big mistake.
Why was it a big mistake?
Because I suck that time. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hold up. So your family isn't like white people. They weren't just like, oh my God, Juliana, great
No.
job.
Yeah. They were very critical because the thing is my friend was like telling me, oh, because you see, in Malaysia, when you are doing entertainment, the Asian way of thinking is it's not you are doing entertainment or what, it's you are a whore. You know, you are doing you are out there on stage, you are a whore. That is the equivalent for an Asian parent. So
Yeah.
my friend said maybe they don't
Hold up.
understand what
Let's
we are
get our
doing.
second Asian to comment on that. Do you feel the
Yes.
same? Like, is your mom like, Janejira does dirty anime?
I didn't even tell her I do comedy. Well, there
Why
was
is
one, well,
why
yeah, when I was writing books and stuff for the first time, she's like, "Does have dusek in it?" Which that was true, but she was just joking. Um, the other day, actually, our neighbor was like, "You got a new boyfriend?" And she's like, "Oh, she go to them every month." It was a joke, but it's like, wow.
Oh, she have
See,
new boyfriend every month.
because like the way that Asians show their support is to just criticize the hell out of everything you do and give you their honest opinion, and just like we don't hold back. We're autistic like that. There's no filter. There's no option for a filter either. It's like, oh, you want my opinion? I give you.
No, Janejira never says anything nice to me. Now I know why. She doesn't do anything
Oh,
nice.
It's because I care.
I'm not gonna
But
Show
I
lie.
of
mean, that is
love.
kind of true because, like, if I'm like, because there's a difference between me like genuinely complimenting and me like obligatory complimenting because probably I think I'm in danger, one of those. And then like, when I like first met my boyfriend and stuff, he wanted my honest opinion on his script and like a full critique. So I just went full on Asian and I was like, these are mistakes. This sentence doesn't sound natural. Nobody talks like this. This would be better if this and this. And he was like, oh my God, I love this. And it was like cute.
Oh my God. So
Nice.
like and sorry to interrupt, but it was like I know Janejira's got something to say on that. And so you said they came to the show, they were over analytical. What else?
Okay. The thing is, my friend said that, oh, your parents don't know what you do. That's why they are so like against it. They always say that, oh, you are whoring outside or whatever. So bring them to a comedy show.
I'm
And
sorry,
then
you're whoring outside. Like like
That's how they phrase it.
there's gaggles of whores. You guys go around in flocks and you're like, hey, you want your dick sucked? Come here. You want your dick sucked? Come here. Like, I want to see a gaggle of whores. I don't think that's my
yeah.
thing. Go ahead.
Just go to Aurora.
uh,
Oh shit.
oh my God. So it's so hilarious. So they all came, of course, with their arms crossed and all, and then didn't say a single word. I went up there, I bombed terribly, and then after that, when I came back home, it's like I remembered that my brother and my dad say, you suck, that's about it. But then my mom was like, yeah, you're not funny at all. And I know what you did after the show. After the show, you actually go and make love with all the boys in comedy. Because technically I'm the only female comedian that time. So so all of them are guys. So that's why I say I know what you do. You whoring with all of them, you know.
Every boy you hang out with, you date. Obviously, it's Asian logic.
And the thing is, when I actually told this to some of my comic friends that this is what my mom said that I did after shows, and you know what they said? Juliana, come on. Of all the comics, you're the last person we want to fuck.
Well said.
And I was like, it's like, because the thing is, I came across, I mean, I am possibly asexual as well, so that's why I mean, I'm not someone that people would like to like fuck, because in the scene, if let's say, okay lah, I mean, I'm not saying that, but this one is like, it may happen, I'm not sure in US is it common where they they will be close with those girls that are pretty, so that maybe hopefully after the gig they can actually get them laid together. But for me, I'm not the type of person where people want to get me laid, like, nah. So
No
it's
way.
hilarious.
You saying there's sleaze balls in Malaysia too? You guys have douchebags
Oh,
out
of
there?
course.
Wow.
Of course.
That's
We have
not
it in
just an
abundance over
American.
here.
I was gonna say that's not
Yeah.
just an American delicacy.
No,
They're
it's
all over.
not. It's all, and the thing is, what makes it even insulting is like, I'm like, hey, I'm actually a woman of my prime. I'm 30 plus years old, and all. And then they are after those who are like super young or either super old because, super old because you know why? Because they want that older female to fuck them actually. Yeah, not
I
not
want
not
that
fucking
insurance
girl.
benefit.
Yeah. So I
I
was like,
told you, one big bang, one
hey.
big check. That's all it takes,
Yeah.
right?
So I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, So that's why I'm like, you say the sleaze balls are not interested in someone like me. Yeah.
That's a different perspective, I guess. It's and I've never thought about being the only woman. And I guess I'm the only black guy on the scene. I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and I was like, in Seattle, how many black comics on there? And they're like, Brunji. I was like, he's African. Then they're like, Elliot GB. I was like, he's not from Seattle. Quentin Jones, he's not from Seattle. He moved. Jay Jones, he's not from Seattle. Right? Juan Carlos, he's not from Seattle, right? Who's the other one? The other Chris Mejia, guess what? He's not from Seattle too, right? So when you go down the list, it's like I'm the only black comedian. And then you start having the conversation of, if you're doing a show, how am I not on it? And you want to be diverse, right? Like, but I mean, we have more than just one black comedian. We have a whole bunch of other things. But do you ever feel like you're the token comedian? Have you ever felt like you're just being booked because you're autistic and you are non-binary? And when it does happen, does that upset you, or do you just like, I don't care, I'm getting booked?
Oh, okay. For me in Malaysia, pretty fortunately that I'm not even being viewed as a token. Yeah. So for me, it's like I just don't get booked. That's about it. Ha 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 ha. No. So I form I laugh.
Joke's on you.
Jokes
Can't
on
get
you, I don't have
discriminated
a
against if
schedule.
I can't get picked.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually I mean, the reason why I ended up like doing I Love KL is because I can book myself. I think that is the coolest thing, when people are not really booking me, they don't really see me because put it this way, I may be non-binary in Malaysia, but to a lot of Malaysians, I am actually non-existent.
Oh God, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, because to them it's like they just like, oh, you just look like a female who wants to be a man, like what's wrong with you? So and then autistic is like a lot of times they view me as faking it. So it's like what the fuck? Like so a lot of times I'm not viewed either as autistic or non-binary in Malaysia, which is actually great because at least there's no such thing as like the tokenism because for me is I don't really basically I don't exist lah. But then for me is I'm like I use it to my own advantage in the sense that I have my own comedy platform. So let's do something with it. So I actually have a tongue-in-cheek slogan recently when I'm doing another podcast. It's actually called I Love KL, not an all-man show.
Whoa, Jesus.
Yeah, because
Well,
most of the shows.
you're attacking us again. I see what you did. I see what you people did there. You people. I'm doing it. I'm doing it back. You people, right? You're gonna get me canceled now, Juliana?
No.
Just
I
didn't.
just did your all women show today morning, so you are not cancelled. Yes.
I
They
love
say,
it.
Shante, you stay.
You called it the
Yeah.
Raw Dog Show, and I was like, in America,
Raw
you're
dog.
not supposed to say raw dog with women. That means
Yeah.
something totally different. That's
Yes.
lost in translation. We'll leave that one alone. Raw dog means something you don't want to. Never mind.
Wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. We'll talk about that on
Yeah.
Dating with Disabilities.
Raw dog.
Have we had you on Dating with Disabilities yet, Juliana?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. I made a poster.
That's right. Hey, you did your job, Janejira. About damn
Yeah.
time.
Finally.
Oh, dun, dun, dun. Well, guess what? I hate to do this to you.
Is it that time?
We barely hear it.
Dun,
Your
dun,
sound
dun.
effects
Oh my
suck today.
God.
We got to get them fixed.
Yeah, I
Between
noticed it's a
now
bit
and the
like
next show.
not very solid. The
There.
dun,
Is that good
dun.
enough?
Thank
Yeah.
you, Juliana. Agreed. She's like, yeah, that kind of sucked. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna give you some Asian feedback. I didn't like it. I didn't like
You
it.
know
at
what?
all.
Sponsor me so I can have money so I can buy a real soundboard, okay?
You got a new computer, so you figure it out, right?
Dun,
But it's
dun,
the
Gotta pay it
lightning
off.
round. We are made it to the lightning round.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell everybody what the lightning round is, Janejira?
For my coworkers that are probably listening and the new people tuning into the show, the lightning round is the best part of the show. It's where we ask 3 fun, silly questions and then 3 more in-depth questions about autism and how it affects your life and how you deal. And then at the end, I believe the guest asks us a question and it's a good time. And then we close out and the listeners walk away with fun things to remember. So, most important question.
And don't forget,
What
hold on.
is what?
You're gonna have to ask us a question at the end,
That's what I
Juliana. So
said.
that's our new little thing. You get to ask us a question. So go ahead.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah, we've changed it.
The most important
Nice.
question. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Yes, Barney, I love you.
No!
Love
Fuck Barney! I'll kill you. You ever say that shit again? The only good thing about fucking Barney is he's purple.
Barney's skeleton.
you.
I hate you, Juliana. We gotta get her off the show. That's it. She said Barney. Nobody likes Barney. Go ahead. We mean real dinosaur. Do you not have a favorite dinosaur you like?
Oh, I love the brachio. You know the brachiosaurus.
The
Yeah, it's so adorable.
Bronchiosaurus? Just the
Yeah,
tall
it has
one?
the tall one. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, and it's a vegetarian. Hmm.
That's a horrible answer. Armored, you've got flying, you've got teeth, you've got all. I just want the lazy tall one.
It's very similar to Janejira's dinosaur, like can
Yeah.
hug, you know.
Like
Yeah.
broccoli. But
Yeah.
broccoli is a
Very similar
pliosaurus.
to
Broccoli is a
broccoli.
pliosaurus. He's got flippers. Look.
Pliosaurus.
Ooh, he got cute little flippers.
Yeah.
All right. I get question number 2. I'll ask the serious one. So, if it were up to you, right now, today, tomorrow, whenever, and I told you I could give you money to start an organization, what organization would you start in Malaysia and why? What would it do?
Wow, this is a very good question. I will start. I will start the Juliana Heng Foundation.
Ooh.
And what would
Yeah.
that mean?
That means that it will be funding my travels to comedy shows around the world.
Ah, boo! That's the American capitalist answer. You're supposed to be like, I'm going to help all little non binary children in Malaysia get their diagnosis. You're like, no, I'm going to go travel the world. That's what I'm going to do. Fair enough. Fair enough. Your
The
turn.
Asian answer.
The Asian answer? Yeah, I
That's
get
true.
it. I get
That's true. Every man for himself up here.
it. Right?
Yeah.
Next question, Janejira, you got it.
Well, that's a perfect segue into my question, because my question was going to be, if you could tour like to any country in the world for a comedy show, and like all your fares are covered and all that stuff, your hotel's all covered, somebody else is paying, somebody else's money is
Not
being
Suit
spent
Man.
on it.
Not Suit Man. Just want to make sure we're clarifying here. Not Suit Man.
Some richer person is sponsoring it. Where would you go?
Very good question. Seattle, of course.
Oh!
Yes!
He's trying to get booked in Seattle. I saw what you did there.
Come
Go
get
ahead.
your weed.
Actually,
And I
it's
can
funny you
see
say that.
you, Janejira, and Audra. Yeah.
Right? And then
Yes.
we're close. We're one of the closer cities to you. We got a real market. We got enough Asian people and autistics to really give you a show, and non-binaries.
We're hella queer over here.
Awesome.
No,
Yes, I heard
you're
that
hella
Portland is
queer.
Portland and all is freaking queer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a Malaysia Pride Festival or anything like that?
No, we
And
don't
remember
have.
when I asked you you could start any organization? That would have been a great answer. I'm going to do Pride.
It will be shut down.
It'll be shut.
Yeah.
So why bother?
I
Go
hate.
with
I
the
hate how
Juliana
you
Heng
said that.
Foundation and then do all the queer activities. Yeah, that also fine. At least they were like, oh, Juliana Heng Foundation. Ah, okay. You know, like not Juliana Gay Foundation. No. Yeah.
We gotta be secret.
Oh,
Yes.
It's like a speakeasy, but make it gay.
Yeah, it's like we call it
that gay.
sneak attack. Sneak
That
attack.
gay.
Yeah.
You one of the gays?
Secret gay.
Yeah. Sneak attack.
I'll ask
yeah.
another serious question. You said you've been talking to a crush.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Uh-oh, we got a smile. Did you see their face light up? Oh my God. Are you gonna try to like? Are you gonna tell them like? Do they know they're crushed, or do they think they're friends? Like, are you really gonna?
I
Are they
I
about to
don't
find out
think
after this podcast?
that's a very good question. For me, is I don't think he knows that I'm crushing on him. Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna tell him, or are you just gonna hope he figures it out?
I need to meet him a few more times
That's valid.
to kind of because he's a bit secretive, he's very mysterious.
Ooh.
Like he wears a beanie and he wears a face mask all the time. So for me, if I like him because his voice, I know because he has quite a deep voice. So I kind of like, yeah, your
Well, we're
voice is
supposed to
already turning
tell
me on.
everybody.
Your voice is already turning me on. But I am autistic. I need more information. I cannot date someone without the
You gotta
necessary
open his
information.
file before you get to know, before you
Yeah.
decide.
It's
As
like
you
I have
say,
to like say
mm,
make sure like he looks like who he is because okay, I mean put it this way, yes, there is social media and all, but that's just a photograph. I need to see the real person, like without the mask, without the beanie, like who is this person? Because this person could have a terrible nose job or mouth job that he wants to hide from me, you know. So I need
I
that
like the
kind of
whole idea.
information.
I gotta touch, taste, and feel you. You know what I mean? Like I want to smell
Yeah.
you, right? I want to. Oh,
So
you smell horrible. Get the heck out!
I
Like
need
I don't care.
information. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was gonna say, you weren't supposed to tell everybody about my deep voice. Okay. We were trying to
Mm-hmm.
stay secretive, but I guess the whole world knows you're crushing on me. Anyways,
Ah,
and then we'll go funny question. I get to ask a non-serious question. I'm not good at the non-serious ones. I don't know why. Like I take life too seriously. Um, what's your favorite dessert?
ah. My favorite dessert is actually fruit cake in brandy. It must be soaked in alcohol.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And so you like
Good.
to get drunk, it sounds like, huh? You like to drink a little bit.
Yeah.
You like your
And
spirit.
chocolate as well, like those rum and raisin. So it's like, suddenly you watch Queer Eye and then you eat. You were like, why suddenly everyone looks so hot and sexy? Actually they already are. It's just that the chocolates and all with the rum and all it and also the fruit cake, whatever, it takes the beauty to the next level. You suddenly see like, yeah.
I'm mad how you said that. You're like, I'm watching the show, and about halfway through, I'm like, these guys are getting sexy. What's going on here? I'm really starting to enjoy this more than I had. That's what happens when we eat edible mushrooms. Because in our states, right, like Oregon, California, you can buy mushrooms legally. So they give it to you in chocolate bars. And I had a comic come in last week, and we sat on the couch all day and watched The Office and just died. We were just sitting there giggling and and mushrooms are like the opposite of alcohol. Like, alcohol makes everybody prettier and supposedly mushrooms makes everything funnier. Like everything. Did you just breathe? Oh my god, he's breathing. You guys know he's breathing over there. Well, you got the last question, Janejira. What you got?
Hmm.
Got to be serious.
I know, right? What is the biggest challenge that you have faced doing comedy in Malaysia?
I will say in comedy in Malaysia, it's like because a lot of times they don't know what I'm talking about. So I need time to establish like, okay, what is autism, what is being queer, because when I just say that I'm gender fluid or just say that I'm autistic, a lot of times they will like just pull back, because they were like, huh, what is this? That kind of stuff. So they don't know that. So you have to actually tell them and even address silence because in Malaysia, autism is still very stigmatized, whereby they still look at it as like, oh, very pity of you, very sorry, So, but for me, if I didn't want that, so I have to like right off the bat, I have to like, I mean, it takes me years to actually like understand that, where I have to flip it quickly, whereby I say that, yeah, I'm autistic. Don't feel sorry for me because I'm an autistic asshole. Yes.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
it needs to be that. If not, they will feel sorry for you. They can't laugh, they will like, like, so you have to say that you're an asshole. Please laugh at me, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Did you come up with a question for us?
Yes.
What is it?
What is the most recent movie you all watch?
Late, 80s first. 80s first. You're up, Jen.
Darn,
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the last movie. Oh, Jaws.
What?
Mm.
The original? One,
Yeah.
two, or three?
The original Jaws movie. That's the last one I saw, I think.
That is the best movie. Because the old white guy's just like, you need to get him off the beach. Did you see the bite of? You're not listening. This is. He goes on those. There's a shark in the water, and she's like, I love it because the wife's like, I believe you, honey. I know you wouldn't lie. And he's like, they're not understanding. And the next day, dum, 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 dum,
We gotta blow it up.
right?
Oh,
Oh, and then just the. I don't know. I've never seen a movie villainize a creature like Jaws did because there aren't
Yeah,
many
it's a classic. But my boyfriend is writing a shark movie, so we're like, let's go
wow.
on a shark movie marathon and like watch them all. And I was like, yeah, I haven't actually seen Jaws, and he was like,
Oh.
what?
I think the last movie I watched, honestly, was Buzz Lightyear that I went out my way to watch. The Buzz Lightyear
Ooh,
movie.
Is it
I
Lightyear?
cried. That's a good one.
Lightyear, right? I
Right?
also my last one is also Lightyear.
Aw, she does love me. I told you, we're gonna get
I
married.
love the
later.
cat. The cat is so
Me
cute.
too. The cat is the best.
Oh, Fox.
I'm Socks.
Oh.
Oh God, I just thought it was kind of hilarious. You know what I mean? And you could see the plot coming in some ways you couldn't. But then it was
Yup.
just like, especially when he was like, "I'm not you anymore." You know what I
Yes,
mean? Time
so
split,
deep.
and then it made me thinking about yourself. Like, have you ever
Mm.
fought yourself on a subject? Or
Every day.
Yeah.
I know
And
I'm
contradict
suicidal.
yourself as well, you know, like what you thought of like couple of years back and now it's different.
Mhm.
So end up we do
I used to
contradict each
be low
other.
key homophobic, y'all. And now look at me.
Yeah.
You're homo.
Homophobic.
No, you're homo. Never mind. There's no answer. You're homogenous.
Yeah.
Homogeneous.
Took away the phobic part. Just homo. Pure homo.
Yeah.
You said it. I didn't. I couldn't say it. That's what I was hitting at. You're not a homophobic anymore. You're just a homo. All right. We got
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So you're bashing. No, I'm not. We're all having a laugh. That's not a bash.
Can't roast me harder than I roast myself. Hey.
Hello.
Yes.
Well, guess what? We did it.
Woo.
We made it. Can you believe it? It's been an hour. Oh my God.
Wow, time flies.
I know. So do horseflies, depending on how bad the shit is. No, I'm just
Hey.
joking. Hey, give us a heads up though. What do you got going on soon? Like, not what are you doing, but do you have anything coming up soon that we need to know about?
I will say, if let's say you want to check out, just follow my Instagram at mxjulianaheng. But I do have a virtual show coming up on the 20th of August, 20th and 21st. So what happened is actually all the Asian women from around the world are coming together to perform an all women's comedy show. So it's like, yeah.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That sounds like some suit man shit in Malaysia. That's what
No, it's not Malaysia. It's actually run by one of the comedian in Toronto. Yeah. So she
Oh,
gathered all the Asian comedians around the world, all the Asian women. And the show is called Asian Wonder Women.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I
So it's
like
like
that.
it's amazing. Yeah. So I'm like, this is the only time we get to see people that are yellow. Yes, me and
For
Janejira
Yeah.
everybody who
and
wants to
Kat.
know, Juliana, a yellow person, said that, not the black guy, and
Yes.
Janejira is another yellow one, so they can say that. I
we
did
can
not
get away
say
with
that.
it.
I did not say that. I am high
Yeah.
yellow. That is a different yellow, not the same
Yeah.
yellow, right?
Yeah, we can use the what you call Coldplay theme song Yellow as our theme song.
You're killing
Yeah.
me. Well, thanks for having you, Juliana. Make some noise for our guest today. Always a pleasure. We always learn a ton. Thank you for showing up today, Juliana. Give
Thank
it
you,
up to our.
Dante. Thank you, Janejira.
There we go. That's what I was going to next. Our crappy sound woman, sound person, sound them,
Yay.
right?
Oh my God. Hold on.
We got to get it figured out. See, look.
There. Is that good enough?
No, I didn't hear anything. It's all right.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
fired. Anyways, give it up for Janejira and Broccoli, everybody. And I've been your host, the most hungover as heck, off of about an hour and a half of sleep, but we did it. We made it. And just like they used to say, Mr. Rogers, I just want everybody out there to know that even if you don't have a friend, I'm your friend. And you have a great day. We'll be doing Dating with Disabilities in about an hour. Come back and 2 and 2. I don't even know who the guest is.
It's my bestie, Sean Connolly. This is our first time
Whoa.
having 2 Asian guests back to back.
Whoa.
I muted myself somehow. I said, we got to put up a wall or something. These Asians are taking over. What's going on, guys? God darn it. What?
Good thing you got muted.
What
Asian
Asian
invasion.
nation? Because it's Asian people, not black people's. So what yellow nation is going on here? Jesus. Hasadiddy. Hey, we've all enjoyed you. Thank you for turning in. I will give you all one last wave. We'll see you in about an hour for Dating with Disabilities. Make sure you check out Juliana Heng at MX
MX Juliana Heng.
Juliana Heng on IG, or look for I Laugh KL. You can find
Yes.
them everywhere. Have a great day, and we'll be back in an hour, you guys.
Bye.